Game 1 of this. Ow. Oh, my desk. Oh, who put that desk there? Jeez. Oh. Oh, and don't say this isn't a dangerous job. Anyways, in the top left from Jinair Greenwings, sometimes written as $$0 because he only wins the tournaments for hundreds of thousands of dollars, well, $100,000 plus. He's won several of those. I'll tell a story about that in a moment, but it is SOS for what you're going to be sending when you play him. In the bottom right, Jinair's Rogue. So these players are both on Jinair Greenwings, the most accomplished team, especially in modern-day StarCraft 2. Maru is also on it. There's been a lot of other top players recently as well. Trap. They have essentially a near monopoly on the top StarCraft 2 players over the last couple of years, so that might be changing soon. So, SOS. Now, I don't remember exactly what tournament it was. I think it might have been IEM Katowice 2013, 2014. But SOS is playing... I want to say it's PvP, but I'm not 100%. It ends up going to Game 7. And in Game 7, he proxies 2 gateways in the back of his opponent's main. Because this was like Heart of the Swarm before he walled off the ramp in PvP every game. So he got a probe in and proxied 2 gates in his opponent's main. Like, I'm not even sure how you fit in the booth. And it was a winner-take-all tournament. I remember that's why it was dramatic. Like, you get second place in a Game 7 of the finals, you lose everything. It's essentially a game show. We don't really do that anymore, even as fun as the storyline is, because we don't like our pro gamers to be excessively poor, because then they will no longer be pro gamers. But, and he won. A successful proxy 2 gate in the back of... Speaking of which, by the way, there's a... Well, this isn't as crazy, but... In order to proxy gate in your opponent's main, like... It doesn't really get higher stakes than that, so... So far, nothing super out of the ordinary from Rogue. I just don't. I was in the past, and I had to bring myself back to the present. And I looked at the production tab. I'm like, oh, this is a pretty standard game. And then I remembered there's a Stargate in the middle of the map, and this is to throw Rogue off just enough, so that way he doesn't have his spore crawlers in time. It's not supposed to be like, aha, this is my entire strategy, but the timing of anti-air defense early on is super mapped out. Like, at exactly probably around like 350, you need to have those spore crawlers done. When this Oracle comes in 10 seconds earlier, that 10 seconds translates into 4 or 5 extra kills. Look at the spore timing. There's a spore in the main. It's a third of the way done. Guess what? Guess when it needs to be done? Quicker than that. That is the difference, and those are the few seconds we shave off at this level. That does make so much extra difference. Now, you gotta be a little careful. How many? He got 4 kills. The Queen's on the edge of the creep? Yeah. And don't come back. 4 kills and kept the Oracle alive. Barely on the Oracle. Looks like some of my depths came in. Got 2 more kills. Beautiful shades there. So, SOS already finding damage. Second Oracle's coming in. Can complement the Adepts as well. If Zerglings try to surround them, the Oracle does a great job against them. Now, it will run out of energy eventually. It is an energy-based weapon. Which is, I think, unique in StarCraft 2. I don't believe there are any other units that require energy to equip their attack. So that's essentially what the Oracle does. It drains energy over time as well. Which is why you can't just have it the whole time. A Stasis Ward being used. It's been a little bit since we saw this, but... Oh, we got the Queen! It triggered on the drone, but the radius of the Stasis Ward when activated is larger than the trigger radius. So it triggers everyone in the whole area. It's essentially like Rifkin on Twitter. Got him. Don't take my parting versus DRG from me, Rifkin. Watch this beat. This is going to be a sick match. But, yeah, I got my shots in. Go check out Rifkin and Base Trade TV for parting versus DRG. But on a second monitor. Otherwise, don't do it because stay on your phone. This is it's happening. Look at how many adepts he has. Why did I tell what? That's just bad marketing. Glaives is nearly done. A stasis ward. Oh, he alley-ooped the drones. He stop right there, drones. The wall. He was trying to wall them off, but guess what? The adepts are already in the base. Alley-ooped them. Now here's the awkward thing: is he could probably kill more drones if he hadn't stasis them. So the stasis actually saved some of the drones. He's in the third. Oh, he just killed this man. He killed him. So I was too busy on memory lane for most of that, but like, he did a proxy Stargate, which knocked him off balance. He kept slapping him around with adepts and stasis wards, and then laid the haymaker across his face. SOS. Weird uncle. All right, game 2 coming up. Winner of this face is Time, by the way, which I'd love to just follow. 1, because that way we don't have to wait for matches, and 2, because I really want to see Time versus either of these players, so let's hop in. SOS, manhandling Rogue in game 1 so adeptly. Rogue just off balance the whole time. Unable to get back to, like, I don't know what he expected the follow-up to be, but it didn't, even if it was just like a third base, he was still in such a weird spot after the first Oracle and first 2 adepts. We're on Zen, by the way, which is the weirdest map in the pool right now. Taking that title from World of Sleepers. Is Rogue gonna go for a gas pool? You absolute madman. Doing like a Heart of the Swarm build here. You know, against SOS, there's like a... What? What? Okay. I've never seen this wall before. So there is a gap, a one size gap between the mineral wall and, well, on the ramp, which you can wall off, but the only way to get rid of the mineral, he's pot... Okay, this game's going to get real weird. This is going to be one of those, kind of like last game, that either is just going to end with one player dominating, or it's going to be weird. That is my technical explanation, because this is not how you're... Like, he's walling off the wrong side of the Nexus. But the Zerglings can come in this way. It feels like he... Well, I'm just gonna let it happen. There's nothing I could do to stop it, even if I wanted to. But I'm gonna accept it's happening. Like water under the bridge. If the bridge is confused as to what the water is doing, and wondering why the water is going in such a direction, and why is the bridge here when it should be over there, because that's where the... Anyways. An adept comes out, but, like, this is extra confusing because he saw that there was gas early, which means probably Zergling speed. And against someone who has Zergling speed, you want to wall off your Nexus. But he has actively not walled off his Nexus. His second pylon isn't walling off, like... It feels like Rogue is just not calling his bluff right now. I think Rogue's confused, because if Rogue just made like 20 Zerglings, he would kill the Nexus. There's nothing to stop him. He could just run into the base and kill... Yeah, like, there's still an Ovi around. He built a Stalker? Who builds a Stalker? The Adept? Of course he's going to complete it. It shades into the main, no cancel. The drones are on the run. Like, there is no wall, so the Zerglings just kind of walk right in. And now they're sprinting, like, this is like the Forrest Gump strat, once again. It's not so much that it really does feel like it's not so much that he has a plan for this as he's freestyling it, and it just seems to work out for him. And that's a lot of SOS's career. Okay, that's not giving him nearly enough credit. He has a particular style, which, if you know Florencio or Parting, he's a YOLO toss. There are two types of Protoss. There are shield Protoss, which are players like Neeb and Stats, and honestly I would have classified Zest in there until yesterday. And then there are YOLO toss, like SOS, like Parting, like Florencio, like Puck. Protoss players who are like, what if I did this? And on that note, what if I just made 2 Stargates? Nothing else. No like Stargate opener. What if I just made 2 Stargates? Why not? Okay. Shades right out after taking a few Zerglings with him. He's making Adepts. But he, like, are you gonna go Phoenix? Okay, what makes the least sense? Void Rays. Void Rays. You can't afford Void Rays, but what is SOS going? He's getting +1 on his Forge. Is this a fake? Is he faking +1 on the ground? But the Overlord saw it only saw half of the Stargates. Meanwhile, the Adept shade in. Two Oracles. Okay. SOS 69 supply. Nice. Oh. Will any... Okay, one Adept dies. Oh, he didn't... He only went like 2 feet. Right off the creep. That was enough. Rogue losing a lot of Zerglings. And this is really keeping the drone count down as well. And also, the +1 was a fake, by the way. He might want the Forge, but he did cancel +1 weapons. I doubt Rogue is noticing that. He might think I guess it's done. It's what? And then suddenly, well, there are spores. Mostly because he saw the first Stargate. He still only saw 1 Stargate, so 2 Oracles are going to be confusing. Okay. So SOS has taken the 3rd. He successfully maneuvered the drone count of Rogue into an awkward spot. Like, right now, if you're Rogue, if he had like map hacks, or if he had seen the production tab, then he could have easily been at 70 drones by now. Yeah, sure, there are a lot of Adepts, but SOS kept doing such weird things and threatening to attack and poking and prodding and forcing out units at awkward... Like, now there are Foracles! He's gonna see the Spire. He might even kill the Spire. Yeah, why not? Like, oh, or kill a bunch of... Like, what? Ah! He's slaughtering the drones! But meanwhile, a bunch of roaches and lings are getting in. But is that like, the probes are done? Like I said, this game was either just gonna end or it's gonna get real weird. And right now, well, SOS is losing a surprising amount of workers. Rogue is up to 69 drones, which is pretty nice for him. Despite, like, well, he had 60-something drones when the Oracles came in, which is why you usually don't go Oracles, because it's a super awkward time, because they already have so many drones killed. Yeah, come on in. Come on in. The water's fine. There's water under this very confusing bridge. Poorly designed bridge, I might add. So even though he has a wall, SOS is determined to let the Zerglings in his base. Anyways, the Oracles tried to kill the Spire, but they weren't inspired enough to do so. Now there's mutas, and there's essentially there is no anti-air. There's literally nothing that shoots up. Adepts do not shoot up. There are no cannons. There are no Phoenixes. There are no Stalkers. This cannon will be the only thing that shoots up. Okay, and now there's 5 Oracles on the... He's just going for it. He's going to warp in some Stalkers. The cannon will be targeted. Meanwhile, a whole metric ton of Adepts are on the way across the map. There's not enough to deal with them. The Oracle's going for the main. The main base, oh, he tactical gooped. He stopped production on a Stargate. Not that I think Adept cares, SOS cares much about it anyways. The Adepts will... Ooh, they had an opportunity there. The Mutas, he's bleeding out a whole lot of probes here. The Adepts are coming in. The Oracles are looking... He could target the Spore Crawler. Wait, there's not much anti-air because the Mutas are on the other side. The Adepts are just fighting. The Oracles are going for the Roaches. The Adepts are going to win the fight, and so are the Oracles uncontested. Rogue is coming back. SOS refuses to lose, despite on paper having like the worst army and no anti-air. He's somehow slaughtering drones. The Oracle's finding an opportunity. Muta's heading back across the map. Spire's still bleeding out. The Adept's caught in an awkward spot. The worker count is devastatingly low for both sides, but still high enough to maintain something of an economy. 32 workers killed by SOS, 25 and counting by Rogue. Well, other way around. Anyways, the Mutas are going to chase down the Oracles, like, eventually. There are 4 bases. Nobody lost a base. He's going to split the... Oh, by the way, hello, Hydras. Meanwhile, Blink, even though he could build Phoenixes. So, now... SOS has, like, nothing, but like nothing isn't nothing. Because the Mutas don't, like, the army supply, I don't know. Like, so there's a lot of Roach Hydra, which is the thing, you can't finesse, oh, SOS, why are you here? Okay, you can't finesse your way out of a bunch of Roach Hydra, right? Blink is about to finish. SOS has way less army, but he's got Force Field. It could be broken by Ravagers. That's just so many more units is the problem. Like, he can, like, Force Field is something. He's going to lose some probes, so a little bit of hold position action. At the end of the day, though, like, yeah, the Corrosive Bowels will bust the Force Fields. The Mutas are in the main doing damage. SOS is beset on all sides. The Force Fields come out. Those are the only ones he blinks to the side. The Mutas, okay, yep. So that's how that ends. 1-1, we're all tied up. This is the graph. Wrong, nope. So, it appears SOS determined to make the Adepts work. Okay. We're waiting for the link. Let's hope they didn't start. I'm getting a suspicion that they started. Or the series is over and I didn't realize. Okay, thank God. Because you never know. With these pro players, especially the Koreans. They're very focused on playing their matches, not so much on the casters seeing them. Meanwhile, 1-1. I have no idea what to expect from game number 3, but I'm not sure these players do either. So thank you for tuning in to my coverage of the IEM Katowice Korean Open qualifier. Let's do, yeah, Jimmy. SOS in the top left, Rogue in the bottom right. Sanity somewhere outside of this lobby. So, that last game, SOS did everything wrong. And it felt like it was mostly intentional. Like, that's not how you're supposed to wall off. That's not how you're supposed to open up or transition. The oracles on paper made no sense. but because they made so little sense, they actually kind of worked. Unfortunately, like if he had been able to snipe the Spire, the mutas are really what threw everything off. The mutas forced an awkward attack out of SOS that was still successful, but not successful enough. So, the mutas just threw a big enough wrench in the works. And SOS just kind of making random units otherwise. Remember, when the mutas came in, there was literally 0 anti-air. So far, everybody's building their buildings near their main base, or in it, which is, I don't know if that trend will continue. Oh. What are you doing? Oh, he's waiting for the cyber. Okay. Not even going to scout early. That honestly is a little suspicious as a... Yep. He's intentionally not showing the probe. I believe that's what's happening here. Because he knows this makes a Zerg player suspicious. Like, why don't you have a probe on my side of the map? You should have already had a probe here. He's just dodging that first OV. You know, I was trying to look smart. It looks like he's just going to proxy Stargate again. I mean, it is still true. He should have already had a probe there. Okay, you know what? I should have committed. I should have stuck with it. He's doing the sneaky scout, but Rogue is already in position to deal with it. His music needs to calm. Just chill out. God. Oh my God. That was the most dramatic scouting analysis I've ever done. That's a Twilight. Alright, everybody roll your 4-sided die. Because... Wait, is that a thing? Is 4-sided die a thing? I'm trying to think, like, geometrically. Okay, roll a 6-sided die. And if it's a 1 or a 2, it's going to be Archon drop. If it's a 3, it'll be DT Archons, not... Well, actually, this is DT Archons, right? Dun, 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 dun. You think he'll actually make Archons? Or will he go DTs? You know how I know? Well, if you go for the Twilight and the Robo, it's very likely to be DT Archon, if you do it before the Stargate. Well, whereas if you go Stargate, usually you go for the High Templar Archons, because a Templar Archives builds twice as fast as a Dark Shrine. And by that time, usually you get more gases and bank up more. This is to potentially catch them off guard, slice through the third, maybe before there's any detection. Like, this is super fast Archon. I keep saying Archons, but it might just straight up be Dark Templar. With SOS, like, Archons are not a finesse unit. In fact, they are essentially the direct opposite of a finesse unit. Big, burly... Wait, wait, what? No, that's a little awkward, but some fancy micros there. That is not very cost effective. Is he gonna let that finish? There's enough Zerglings to make things awkward. Oh! Well. That ain't... Well, what? Meanwhile, an Overlord saw the Dark Shrine, so that's not ideal. The thing is, sometimes when you see the DTs, you spend so much money countering them, they become effective without existing. I know it sounds dumb, but believe me, it's a thing. Is he really gonna go? You know he saw the Dark Shrine, right? Like, he's like, alright, go build an Archon. Go behind the woodshed, behind the rocks, where nobody can see you, literally, and build an Archon. Alright. And a second Archon? Anytime now, thank you. You remember what the build's supposed to be for normal people, SOS. I bet there's not like a non-zero chance he wanted to go DT blank. He's like, well, Classic did it that one game, and everybody can't stop talking. It's like when Scarlet did those Bane mines in that one game half a decade ago. You guys remember when Scarlet did Baneling mines, and then nobody else has made them useful for that long? Yeah. How cool was that? Do Baneling mines, Winter. Baneling mines! I mean, I know Cyril has said that the reason players don't use Baneling mines because they literally take too much APM to be worth it. But in this... I'm sorry. Baneling mines are fun. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Please subscribe. Alright. The Archon's busting through. They do extra damage to biological. Thankfully, everything Zerg, including buildings, is biological. That's very convenient. SOS, how many gates we looking at? We got 7 gates, and he's chrono boosting. Oh no, Rogue is making drones! Really? Are you gonna fall for this, Rogue? He's doing a lane drop. He thinks he's in a macro game. He doesn't think he's about to just die. Surprise! Hydra's on the way. Yeah, that's a lot of charge left. Oh my god, the splash damage. If he doesn't lose the Prism, SOS is just gonna walk over him. Zerglings get into the main, so that's something. But it's, yeah. Well, kind of an appropriate ending. Rogue did not expect he would just build a bunch more charge lots. And that was kind of an example of, oh, I've defended the DT drop, so I guess I'm fine and I can do whatever I want. And SOS saying, but actually though, no, not even a little bit.